Revolutions are loud. Justice is almost always quiet. In part one, we followed Mario Michel through the turbulence of political life, from student activist to deputy prime minister, where ambition, ideology, and controversy forever shaped his public identity. Part two begins where politics ends. Beyond the campaign platforms and parliamentary debates lies another transformation, from politician to jurist, from advocate to arbiter, from making the law to interpreting it. In this rare and deeply reflective conversation, Justice Mario Michel revisits the defining choices of his life, the weight of judicial independence, the cases that tested his convictions, and the personal cost of serving both politics and justice. This is not the story of a career. It is the story of a man who lived on both sides of power. Justice Mario Michel, the Virtuous Rebel, Part 2. You got caught up in the Helene affair. Famous press conference, Mario Michel, Roger Joseph is his press secretary, and you are under fire from the media because you essentially, the media is saying that Mario Michel was trying to facilitate, through his influence in cabinet, a loan guarantee for an airline that he was representing as a lawyer.
To bless the idea of a guaranteed loan for Helene without the security of land and so on that he valued and so on, so on, so on, so on. That's how careful the government was about that particular activity. So I would assume that while you removed yourself, which is the correct thing to do and in keeping with your reputation, that you would not sit there and discuss in cabinet whether or not to grant the guarantee, that you would consider it your duty to give the Prime Minister all the information you had about the company, and then to let him and your colleagues, in your absence, decide whether the people of Saint Lucia should be placed at risk with relationship to.
Was that true?
Well, I mean, you said various things. Certainly, no, it was not true that I was looking to all the things you said. Use my influence, whatever. I was Helene's lawyer. I formed the company in terms of I was the lawyer who, when the Saint Lucia Airways went down, I don't know how much of that history that you knew, that Saint Lucia Airways was it had to be disbanded because of their involvement in some
Arms trafficking.
Trafficking and so on and so on. Saint Lucia Airways had employed a number of pilots and office staff who found themselves, they almost woke up one day and found they didn't have a job. And a group of them decided, they are pilots, they're going to come together and form an airline company, initially to do charters and so on and so on. They all ended up at my office and told me what was their dream, their hope, whatever. I advised them, which I did. Eventually they formed the company, and I became, quite naturally, I suppose, the company's lawyer. Once I went into government, my practice as a lawyer ended. I did have a law firm which continued to operate. I took no part in its operation. I gained no income from its operation. In fact, after the whole Helene thing, because of the way the office handled it, I basically told them, okay, cut. Basically, you buy the practice or I'll sell it for somebody else. I no longer wish to have a practice continued in the name of Michel and company or whatever. Basically because what happened is that a lawyer in the office, proceeded to file an annual return exactly as it had been filed the year before when I was the secretary.
So you can understand why it was always said that though you had been a government minister, you were still operating as the puppet master behind the scenes.
Michael George said he saw this thing and like, wow, somebody really playing the fool with me, if that actually happened. And then I saw the thing afterwards. And yeah, it was true that my name was there, that on something like September, October of 1997, 4 or so months after becoming a minister, that I was appointed, because you were kind of appointed every year as secretary. So I was appointed secretary of Helena 4 months after I became a minister. And there I am, a member of cabinet, and a cabinet that approves government guarantee for Helena.
You could understand why.
Obviously, this is wrong, very wrong.
You could understand why. Some people did not believe that, because the Mario Michel that you had portrayed yourself to be up until that point had been Mr. Straight as an arrow.
Yeah, but
all your T's crossed, I's dotted. So how is it that Mario Michel ends up as secretary of Helena, the same company, applying for government guarantee, and Mario Michel does not know on paper that he is still the secretary?
Because I would have no reason. I was absolutely shocked, But I was like, what do you mean? I mean, if I knew I had been appointed, if I knew there was a document showing that I'm secretary of Helena, then I mean, why would I go and have a press conference and tell everybody that no, I'm not secretary of Helena? Anybody can go to the registry and find out otherwise. If I had any reason to believe that was so, I mean, why would I go and make it? I say anybody, just go to the registry and ask them to see the last annual return of Helena. So I mean, it'd be very foolish to lie about something like that, because it's so easy to establish that you're a damn liar.
Take me back to that moment. You are at that head table. Roger Joseph is your press secretary. Rick Wayne is on his feet, and Rick is mad as hell. And he's firing on all cylinders. You are in that line of fire. Take me back to that moment.
Well, I've never been afraid of being in a line of fire. I've never been afraid of opposition. I've never been afraid of being attacked, especially when I know I'm in the right. I know the position I'm taking is beyond question. And yes, so Rick is carrying on, getting on. I mean, after Rick was fired from the Senate, I mean, what I was told, he said that, okay, well, Mario has finally gotten his way, and I will go for an unspoken part of his anatomy. And yeah, so that didn't surprise me, and it didn't surprise me the lengths to which he went to malign me, to criticize me, to demonize me, however you want to put it. But the fact is, as I said then at the press conference, that if that was filed, then that ought never to have been filed. And as a matter of fact, I am not the secretary of Helena. I ceased to be the secretary of Helena when I ceased private practice.
During your first term in office, what would you say was your greatest accomplishment?
What I consider to be my major accomplishments would be the attainment of universal secondary education, the deep shifting of the primary schools, the ending of the decade-long problem every September, parents running about trying, in the Castries-Rosalie area, trying to find any school that will register their child because there's simply not enough places. Ended all of that by the construction of the Import Lucy Primary and so on. The National Stadium, the National Cricket Ground, sporting facilities being established in a number of communities. I mean, all of these things were the things that I spoke about, the things that meant a lot to me, almost the reasons why I came into government. But it's difficult to, as I say, tie one down to in my first term. I find that a little difficult to answer because, as I said, the significant accomplishments were not necessarily first term accomplishments as opposed to accomplishments during my tenure. I believe that I bring two things principally to my candidacy in Rosalie. One is a certain youthful vigor, a certain energy that I believe is necessary in the constituency of Grosley at this time.
From my research, you barred anybody coming to your ministry to speak to you constituency issues. Unheard of at the time. What was the thinking behind that? And how do you think that impacted you long-term politically?
Constituents were told, if you want to see me to speak about constituency matters, come to see me at my constituency office on Wednesday. The same way in the ministry, they would tell you, you see, on Wednesday, the minister is not the minister. On Wednesday, he's the parliamentary representative for Grosley. So don't come and tell him about this in that school or whatever. Tell him that on Thursday. So that it is the very same thing both ways.
How did that affect you politically?
I mean, the way people get vexed. I come and see, I live all the way Moshi. I go right in town, I take bus and run to see Mr. Michel, and they tell me I can't see Mr. Michel. So you vex with me, yeah? And that happens quite often. But I mean, that was the system that was put in place to be the best minister that I can be and the best parliamentary representative that I can.
Coming up, Mario Michel addresses the change in the Labour Party's constitution.
I have never been a controversial writer journalist.
What did the Labour Party promise to you? That if they got it, you would become a senator?
Being Rick Wayne, I got fired from the Senate by the Labour Party.
You were a troublemaker. You decided that you were going to trade that pen for a red t-shirt and a star.
Mario is the guy who was behind getting rid of Paul Michel. Trading was the closest thing to God. Those were wild days. There's no such thing as neutral. That's a lot. That's a show by itself. Had I stayed in Saint Lucia, I would have taken him to jail.
Were you involved in a pornography ring at that time?
The only pornography ring I know is on Come to the Wedding Finger.
You were trusted by the public, hated by politicians, and then you took your pen and decided, I'm finished. Many people have asked, was Rick Wayne in a relationship with this man?
This guy was a horny guy. You got a big bad.
Looking to take your projects to the next level? Caribbean Levels Limited has just what you need. Introducing our must-haves: standard stirrups, sleek ridge caps, and the ultra-tough Permacard Gen 3 roofing sheets. And guess what? You can shop it all online at CaribbeanLevelsLimited.com. Got questions? Our live chat has answers right at your fingertips. Don't wait. Visit our site today and discover why Caribbean Levels Limited continues to lead the way in innovation. Caribbean Levels Limited. We've got you covered. Guaranteed.
Those new entrants into the community must feel a sense of belonging to and living in a community. That, I think, has to be an absolutely major priority to help bridge the gap, to help mend the differences that presently exist between the original inhabitants of Grosley and the new entrants.
You also had challenges with accommodating your constituents above and beyond what you thought a parliamentary representative should do. So let me give you an example. Maybe you can correct me if I have the facts a little off. Constituent may come because there is some crown lands that's vacant. Constituent wants to place a canteen, the little truck to sell a food or whatever, and it has to be by a minister's say-so, right? A little note that says, give Miss Marjorie a little bly. Mario Michel would say, I'm not authorized to give Miss Marjorie a blind. Miss Marjorie will have to starve. She will not be able to put her canteen there. True or false?
False. I mean, the truth, the only truth there is in that is that people used to come to me, as they used to do to all ministers, and probably, and I'm sure, still do up to now. There's a piece of crown land somewhere. Give me a paper for me to put my house there. That's how the language. And there are lots of, I mean, the Rock Hall Primary School, when I became minister, Rock Hall Primary School, there were a few acres of land because part of the school program was supposed to have been an agricultural component. So they had acquired endless acres of land. And they just had one set of people living there. That's one reason they had to close down the school. They have a whole lot of people, let's say 100 families living there. All of them have a piece of paper from Mr. Lancico. Now, as far as they're concerned, that's their title deed. The minister give me a paper for me to come and put my house on the land. Now, I'm not doing that because there's a lots of things wrong with that. First of all, that has no legal value. That's the first thing. And secondly, it's also inappropriate. There's a Crown Lands Department which is supposed to administer the Crown Lands. When the Crown Lands trying to do something and they have people just coming in for a paper from Mr. This or Mr. You are disrupting the work of the relevant government ministry, and also it is a lie. What you're giving to these people there is a lie. This doesn't give the person any right to come and put their house there. They feel as a result of that paper that they have a right.
How did all of these challenges impact you at the polls in 2001? Because you lost significant ground.
A lot of things explain that. There was, yes, that aspect of Mario Michel that people did decide they have a problem with. The not promising, the not willing to do things that I thought inappropriate. Let's just take a situation that, the kind of situation which impacted me in the 2001 election. Rodney Bay Residents Association, just to pick a thing. Rodney Bay Residents Association invites me to a meeting to come and discuss their problems. I go to the meeting. And residents, in turn, one by one, discuss their problems. The level of noise from the music on the strip. The fact that they have all kinds of people that all around the area now. All kinds of people now frequent there, and that's, when they bought their homes, they bought, peace and this and that, and the kind of people they have there now, they're not feeling safe, and a lot of things like that, and noise and lights and traffic, and so. And they want more street lights and brighter things here and whatever. And after people give all their complaints, okay, responding. And I asked them how many of them know the area called Virtuous, where 2 years away from the 21st century, there's no road that can take you there. The source of water is a pond, which the residents share with the goats and cows and so on.
Bathing, that is the totality of the basic water supply. You have maybe a couple hundred persons living there, a number of children living there.
It's many years the people are campaigning for that. All ministers, and Mr. Hunt tries his best to see if he could help us. But the UWP government always see Visique how much people living. And if you check the amount of people living in Visique, if no rain comes, that same water we have to use. Not even say when the season is very dry, they will take a truck and say, okay, drop that bus of water in Visique. So we just
and and then take them to another community where there's no this and no that. Take them to Wivemita, the area where Valerie Lord lived. If you go there in the night, there'll be somebody standing next to you and you wouldn't know that there's somebody there. These are the problems I have to deal with. These are the things which brought me into government. And you will forgive me if I prioritize them, as opposed to maybe the level of decibels in the music can be lowered somewhat, or the kinds of people that you find frequent there. The kinds of people, by the way, who from Moshi and Rosalie Town, and the kinds of people who voted for me, that you want me to get away from you because they're not good people. That's not what I came into the politics for. I don't know if one person from Rodney Bay voted for me in the election that followed. But just blunt honesty.
The general elections in Saint Lucia will be held before December 31st, 2001.
Friday, 23rd November 2001, and elections will be held on Monday, 3rd December 2001, in this, the 50th year of adult suffrage.
I hope it's true. They tell me how you reform me. 3 cheers to you, cause it's years now them laws won't changing. I want to see justice.
How did the change in the Labour Party's constitution impact you and your decision not to run for a 3rd term?
As a matter of clearing the record, in August of 2004 it was, I addressed the annual constituency conference of the Saint Lucia Labour Party, the Groseley constituency group of the Saint Lucia Labour Party, and informed them that I would no longer be running the Groseley seat, and that the constituency group must begin in earnest from now the task of identifying a replacement candidate. That was in the month of August, addressing the annual Groseley Constituency Conference. In the month of November, at the annual National Conference of the Saint Lucia Labour Party, the Constitution was changed. So just as a matter of fact, what came first was my announcement.
What was your take on that motion?
If I had my way, it would not have been. It would not have been proposed or even passed.
Some say the exit of Mario Michel in 2006 were the nails in the coffin of the SLP's reign. Your take?
I imagine it would have had some impact. I do think that I brought into the Labour Party a sector of the population that might not otherwise have been as responsive.
AKA the youth.
Yes. And I never lost that touch in terms of young people and my ability to communicate with them and so on and so on. And so that would not have helped. My exit would certainly not have helped the party in the 2006 election.
Looking back between 1997 and 2006, what is the one thing that you wanted to accomplish for your ministry or your constituency that you exited office and always regretted it wasn't done?
I was never satisfied that we had effected the sort of transformation in the governance of the country that it was expected that we would. And I think by and large, after a while, there came to be a same in terms of governance as before and as of now. Really, when he's talking about as of then. And if anything, that was my disappointment. I wouldn't like to identify micro issues like this or that, but overall, that would have been my disappointment.
What was that transition like for you? 2006, you have to return to the bar.
It wasn't very difficult, the transition itself. I mean, elections were held on Monday, the 18th of December, from what I can remember. By the following day, I mean, I'm no longer a minister. I no longer hold any office. It is 19th of December. I'm obviously no longer a parliamentarian. The government of which I was a minister, is not there again. So as I say, it's 19th December. All right, I'll take the next 2 weeks to just chill, and then I will start work on the first day of the new year, first working day of the new year. Return to my practice as a lawyer. And I did just that. I started off in an office made available to me at the building owned by my brothers then, John and Costello at Lance Road. I spent a few weeks there while I'm trying to get stuff organized, locate an office, re-engage staff, and within a month I had my office at Chung's building on Miku Street. I had my admin sec and my clerk who had been with me before I left in the first place. They were back with me in my new office, and I was open for business and ready to go. And it took a little while for the clientele to build back. I mean, you don't just open the door and just everybody comes rushing in. I mean, a lot of my clients would have been elsewhere, would have developed relationships with their new lawyers and so on. So it was, one could say, a slow build-up. But within, let's say, by the end of the second year, things were looking quite good. The income was coming. And then I was asked to go to Anguilla to serve as a judge. I was asked to do a 6-month spell because the resident judge in Anguilla, Justice Janice Pereira, was promoted to the Court of Appeal in Saint Lucia, and there was no judge in Anguilla, and it might be a little while before they recruited somebody. So whether I could go to Anguilla for 6 months until the recruiting has taken place. After I said no, eventually I agreed to do 3 months. From February 1st to 2009 to April 30th, 2009. And one can almost say the rest is history. I stayed there for the 3 months, and I went to Grenada for 4 months, and I went to Antigua for 3 years, and then Court of Appeals in Lucia for 12, and Chief Justice for 1. So, yeah, one could almost say after that that the rest is history. The transition was not difficult for me because I remained always a lawyer. I wasn't somebody who, I was a lawyer who went into politics and underwent some kind of transformation in terms of, my personality, my manner.
That's easy to say. Mm-hmm. And I have to say now, Justice Michel. Mm-hmm. But as Justice Michel in the Court of Appeal, you are now hearing cases from throughout the OACS. Mm-hmm. And over 10 years in government, you would have had friends and foes. Mm-hmm. You would have had some bad relationships with people from Saint Lucia, and now you were sitting on their case. How could you have divorced yourself from these experiences in your rulings? And also, can you understand the fear that some may have had that you would have brought your Labour Party axe to grind to the bench?
Okay. 2 things. I served as a High Court judge 3 places, 2 in an acting capacity, Anguilla and Grenada, and then 1 for a 3-year period as a High Court judge, permanent judge. And I would never have become a High Court judge in Saint Lucia. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're judges, they're High Court judges from Saint Lucia who are in Saint Lucia. I don't think I would have been asked to, and if I were asked, I would decline. because I was too involved in life in St. Lucia, not just the political life, but a lot of aspects of life in St. Lucia for me to find myself as a High Court judge dealing with local issues, some of which, whether I knew about the issue or I knew about some of the personalities involved or whatever. So no, I was never going to be a High Court judge in St. Lucia. When I went on the Court of Appeal now, that time you were a Court of Appeal judge for all 9 territories, I always looked at every matter that was going to be heard in St. Lucia. Incidentally, the Court of Appeal is sitting in St. Lucia right now, the St. Lucia sitting. So let's say I was on the bench a week or two before, the list for cases that will be heard by the Court of Appeal in St. Lucia will be made available to the judges. So you look at the list, well, I know this person or whatever, I did something in relation to that. So I could mark out those matters that, no, I'm not going to sit on it. Not because I believe if I sit on it, there's anything wrong I will do, or that I will allow myself to be prejudiced by anything, but I will not sit on a matter that there is something that might suggest that maybe you shouldn't be there. And with the Court of Appeal, you can do that because there are 6, 7 judges on the Court of Appeal, and only 3 sit on a case at any one time. So there is room for you not to be available to sit on this case or that. So I mean, it's not a problem because, as I say, one works around it. In my case, never sit on the High Court in St. Lucia, and when sitting on the Court of Appeal in St. Lucia, just avoid certain cases that there may be a hint of something.
Between the High Court bench and Court of Appeal, how many years did you serve?
I served, barring the 7 months acting appointment, I served 3 years as a High Court judge, and then 12 years as a Court of Appeal judge, and 1 year as Chief Justice.
During your 12 years before you were Chief Justice, what is the one case that still stands out for you today that you had to rule on?
Well, the case that still stands out for me is a case involving, I don't know if you ever knew that place, Mako Water Sports. Mr. James, the late proprietor of Mako Water Sports, had applied for title to the place where he operated, on the basis that he had been there for over 30 years, and he had applied for a prescriptive title to it. Rodney Bay Marina Limited and some company called Planviron, which owns shares or whatever, opposed it. And eventually an application was made to dismiss his application for title by long possession, because, and it gets a little technical, that the power to make an award lies with the Registrar of Lands and not with the High Court, and that is by virtue of the Land Registration Act, as opposed to what is provided in the Civil Code, which would indicate that the power to make that decision is in the High Court. So the matter came before the court, and the majority of the court took a particular view that basically, forget the Civil Code, we go in with the Land Registration Act. And my thing was, the Civil Code is not just a little thing on the side of the Civil Code is the civil law of St. Lucia. That's the foundation on which our civil law stands. Everything else is a branch in the tree, but the Civil Code is the tree. And it created a level of discomfort, if you like. The Chief Justice had written a judgment, and I wrote a judgment contrary to her judgment. Her judgment prevailed because the third judge took her view. It's a judgment that I've never stopped thinking about it, and I don't know if I ever will. I took a strong view about my own position, but 3 judges sit on a panel, and the other 2 disagreed with me.
Still to come, Why was Mario Michel not confirmed as Chief Justice?
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Most people have very little idea about the court, how it functions and so on. So that is an area I think going forward the court needs to make a major improvement in terms of its public relations.
For most lawyers, the highest ambition is to become Chief Justice. For you, the little mister from Ravin Chabot, who made it to the office of Chief Justice in an acting capacity, what was that like for you? You got home that day and you knew, tomorrow I start work as the Chief Justice for the OACS. What's that like for you?
The bigger thing about my holding that office of acting Chief Justice for a year is the fact that the prefix of acting went before Chief Justice for reasons that I am not particularly minded to get into.
At the opening of that law year, you are acting Chief Justice and you are on a live broadcast and you have 1 million plans for your year. Tell us 2 of these plans.
Well, the major plan I had for the year was the public awareness program that I initiated. I mean, I have been very concerned about what I consider to be an alarming level of ignorance, and using ignorance in the technical meaning of lack of knowledge of persons about the courts, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the judiciary, the legal system, the court system as a whole. There is an alarming level of unawareness about it, and I thought if there's one thing I would like to be known for, is to have played a role in educating people in the 9 member states and territories of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court about the court, the justice system. I mean, I've heard a prime minister speak about a crisis in the judiciary, and the elements of the supposed crisis had absolutely nothing to do with the judiciary, but it is concepts and meanings of words, and that sometimes, you heard that when you talk about the judiciary and problems in the judiciary because some of the police stations in need of repair. But these are realities. People say these things, people think those things because they just don't understand and know there has not been a program to create that understanding. It's like we do our thing and people do theirs, and that's okay. So they don't understand. I'm from a different school, and if we are there to serve the public must know who we are. So they must know who we are, why we are there, what we're supposed to be doing, and so on.
Welcome everyone to this special sitting to mark the retirement of His Lordship, the Honorable Mario Michel, Acting Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court.
And I was lucky to be blessed with a supportive family. So thank you to my wife, to my children, to my siblings, most of whom are here, and posthumously to my mother.
Mario Michel, why did you resign, or be it retire, from the role of Acting Chief Justice?
Okay, well, the significance of May 5th, by the way, is that I was appointed as Acting Chief Justice on the 5th of May 2024, and I retired on the 5th of May 2025. So I decided I will serve exactly 1 year and no more in the capacity of Acting Chief Justice. When the former Chief Justice, Dame Janice, reached retirement age, a search committee was appointed to choose the next Chief Justice. A whole system was put in place, applications, shortlisting, interviews, and so on and so on. At the end of the process, Mario Michel was unanimously recommended to be the Chief Justice. We have a system where the appointment of a Chief Justice must be approved by the must receive the unanimous approval of the 9 heads of state or government of the territories. And one person decided that Mario Michel should not be Chief Justice. So there being a vacancy in the office by virtue of the previous Chief Justice retiring and no new appointment having been made by the head of government, so the Judicial Legal Services Commission then appoints somebody to act. And so I was appointed to act Chief Justice. And after a year, it appeared that there was no shift of position. I laugh because there are a few things I could have done. One of them is to wait for the announcement that was made yesterday or the day before. But yeah, in the end I decided I'm not going to sit in the office of Acting Chief Justice on any indefinite basis. I'm not going to be a Brian Aline who was Acting Chief Justice and retired as Acting Chief Justice after 3 years because one Prime Minister decided that Brian Aline should not be Chief Justice. I'm not putting myself there. I'll serve for 1 year, and unless there's something that shows that something is likely to change at the end of a year, I will say goodbye to the office and to the bench. And yes, that's May 5th.
Mr. Michel, why do you think that Prime Minister just wouldn't give the green light to you?
It's about the aspect of the courts that persons express concern about, and when they say, these small islands and so on, so on, so on. I wrote a judgment that the Prime Minister didn't like, put it that way. Let me put it most casually. Yeah, I wrote a judgment he didn't like. And so he decided that I should not be the Chief Justice. I put it as his most basic and most casual.
Looking back at this, do you think that the time has come for...
And just by the way, I would write the same judgment tomorrow again. Just by the way, yeah.
Do you think the time has come for a slight modification to the 9-man rule or 9-member approval rule, considering what has happened to you?
I mean, this is one of the lawyers, Mr. Theodore in particular, spoke about, almost the terror of the one. I mean, it's unfortunate that you have nine countries, and 8 of which can say clearly, well, yes, we want to proceed with that position, and one says no, and then it's no because that one says no. Now there's a uniqueness about the office of Chief Justice that can support that position, in the sense that when you're Chief Justice, you are Chief Justice of Saint Lucia, Chief Justice of Dominica, Chief Justice of Grenada. You are effectively the Chief Justice of 9 different states and territories. So how can you be my Chief Justice when I do not approve you, do not approve of you? In other words, forget the fact that you are these 8 other people's Chief Justice. You are going to be my Chief Justice, but I do not support you. So it's a kind of thing to justify why there's there must be a unanimous position, because lack of unanimity means that a particular country cannot support somebody to be that country's Chief Justice, and yet that person becomes that country's Chief Justice because the other countries want him to be their Chief Justice. It's a kind of a thing.
Yeah, but there's also separation of powers, huh?
Yeah, yes. If I were able to decisively change it, and for that reason, yeah, I didn't mind remaining in the office, but no, there were other reasons that I decided were more important to me, not to be sitting there waiting for some prime minister to say yes, yes, or to just do like Sir Brian and just,
fade into the sunset.
Yeah.
That's all right. Mal, you there? Yeah, Mahal. Next time I got something finally petit. Samina petit.
Très confortable. Je dis à ces jours comme on a posé. Ces jours, nous venons pour célébrer ces communes là, communes qui a travaillé par communes là, qui a travaillé par pays là, et je dis à ces jours.
If you're not mobilizing people, if you're not on a political platform or in a robe or on a bench, what are you doing? What do you do for fun?
For fun? I haven't thought about it yet. No, right now, since I think I took the month of May to sort of just cool out.
Still to come, Mario Michel sings.
It's kind of like I want to do.
I would let Calypso
die under me and plant me dashing instead.
And later, Nelson Mandela kisses a child.
If I would have known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. My big bro, the general, Jay. 21 gun salute, I'll see you soon on the other side. If I would have known If I would have known, I'd have broke parole and come home sooner. If I would have known.
I've been working with my son, who has who's a lawyer in practice and is developing a fairly busy practice. And yeah, he uses me as his sounding off board. You know, when he's doing a case, run something by me, and you know, to get a feedback, a feel, and so on and so on. And I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm also trying to catch up with reading. I've spent so much time in the last few years just reading law and reading cases and reading facts and reading evidence and reading that I've not been reading literature. You know, what's something I love so much. I haven't had the time to do that. So that's one of the things I want to get back into, just reading for the sake of it, as opposed to prepare for a judgment or to prepare for a case or something like that. And there's I mean, I've been a bridge player. I was a bridge player for years. I stopped playing, and now, okay, I'm retired now, so I'm being told there's no excuse left that I must come back, and I probably will. So there are things that I have almost suppressed for quite a few years.
You are also Mario Michel the Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Father in heaven, we thank you for the gift of life, health and strength, for determination, for ambition, for companionship, for friendship.
The walking is, it started with my brother Costello, who at the time of Roadbusters Club, all my brothers eventually got into walking, formalized the Northern Long Distance Walking Group, started this walking around the island, which the group has done a few times. I did it once, 25 hours straight of walking through the night. Started, I think that day we started about 3 in the afternoon, on the eve of independence, and finished government buildings. You know, they had the independence platform somewhere there. Yeah. Started at 3 o'clock one day, 3 p.m. one day, and finished about 4 p.m. the next day. Just walking through the day, walking through the night, in the sun, in the cold, in the everything. Or sometimes just, you know, driving along. If I want to drink, whatever, he pulls up on the side of the road, I have a drink, you know, and then continue walking. Yes, I would find myself seated in the car sometimes if I want to, you know, change my shoes or whatever, but seated in the parked vehicle.
Also, the biggest 10 pinners ever.
These days I slack off, you know.
Really? You were a fixture in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah. For some reason, I just slack off in the last year. I mean, I still went to 10th, but the 10 pinners that I was, I think I've lost my status.
Yeah?
I've missed too many 10s.
Who's your favorite artist?
Ashanti used to be. When Ashanti was Ashanti was my guy. I still like Invader a lot. Pep is Pep. You know?
He's the master.
Yeah, Pep is Pep. You can't touch Pep. I mean, there are other guys like Herb Black. I mean, there are songs of Herb Black that are still, for me, very powerful. Not even just his Calypso Jail and his One Day's Work, you know, kind of more serious songs. I mean, songs like I would have sing for bamboo if it's sky like I want to do.
I would let Calypso
die under me and plant me dashing instead. I can't remember It's all in me.
That's it.
That's what I'm looking for, the title, yeah. Songs like that, I mean, I love these songs. So, Black is one of my favorites.
And regionally, you have your two favorite guys. So there's a photograph of you with them.
Mario Sparrow and Chalk Dust. I remember that day, there was this event in Antigua, Sandals, I think, at Sandals Grand Antigua. An event for Short Shirt, celebrating its 50th anniversary in Calypso. And they invited various Calypso greats, including Sparrow and Chalk Dust, to be there. And I'm there and I'm watching the show, whoever's singing, and my wife is insisting, Mario, let's go outside. And yeah, I came there to watch this, and that's what am I going to do? And she almost tortured me until, okay, all right, okay, let's go. When I went outside, I saw Chalk Dust and Sparrow standing there waiting for me. I was like, oh my God. I had to apologize to my wife 100 times.
What was that like, liming, having in your zone, having in your home, Nelson Mandela? What's that like for you?
Still probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. I mean, Nelson Mandela had long been my hero. I had participated in a number of Free Nelson Mandela rallies, and Free Mandela t-shirts. Even when Mandela was probably more a symbol than a reality. He had been in prison for 20-something years. You're not allowed to take pictures of him or to record him.
Thousands of mothers and fathers all over the world, including right here in Saint Lucia, named their newborn babies after a prisoner in a South African jail. I confess that I too plead guilty to this charge, having named my firstborn child, Marie Grace Mandela Michel, in the hope that she would grow up with the strength of character of a man still then a prisoner in a South African jail.
We don't really know this man. We're hearing what ANC is saying and so on and so on. And then eventually he walks out of prison. And then, we invite him to Saint Lucia or whatever. And the first activity we had was a state dinner. And I usually got assigned that responsibility to sit with a special guest, whether it was Nelson Mandela or P.J. Patterson or whoever. That was one of my responsibilities, because the Prime Minister had to preside, so he couldn't. So yes, I always had to sit with a special guest. So yes, I had to sit with Mandela. And we just chatted right through. And I'm like, this man is for real.
I am very happy to be here today. And thank you very much for everything that you have said, especially by the minister here. Well, I have mentioned to the Minister of Foreign Affairs here, as well to the Governor General, that Saint Lucia is one of the most beautiful places I visited.
My final question to you is...
Just by the way, when my daughter, years afterwards, you're talking about the picture, she said, Daddy, you could at least given me a nice address, One comment. on the photo. Sorry.
From 1997, at least as far as I can remember, till now, Mario Michel has remained a very private person. You agreed to have this interview with Untold Stories.
Why? What, sorry?
Why did you agree to have this interview with Untold Stories?
Maybe because I do think I have an untold story.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
The full has never been told. Could go on and on, the full has never been told. Could go on and on, the full has never been told. Could go on and on, the full has never been